Good morning, everybody. It's a hard act to follow Manu Prasad with that amazing presentation. I think it's going to be probably all downhill from there onwards. We'll try our best to keep up to some extent. So it's a long title, Using Focused Social Media Monitoring Data to Evolve a Marketing Communication Strategy. Okay, let's understand what it is about. I think Jeff's already given an introduction very quickly. The internet experience which I have is from homeindia.com, which was the first startup which we started in the space, which was an e-retail business selling ethnic Indian products to global customers on a pure B2C basis. I ran that from 98 to 2007. And then a couple of years I was at this company called Compare Infobase Limited, based out of New Delhi, which has portals like mapsofIndia.com, mapsofworld.com, and others. I was chief operating officer there. And as Jeff mentioned, after that, from 2009 onwards, I've been running Social Wavelength, social media business. He's already mentioned a few of our clients, just a quick look at some logos. Okay, right. Getting on to the subject for the day, a typical social media monitoring process. So a lot of you here must be using social media monitoring for some or the other purpose, collect mentions about various things from the internet using social media monitoring tools. And that would typically include all the stuff like blogs, forums, tweets, wherever the mentions are happening, pull them into your funnel, look at them, process them, identify those which are relevant, and then take suitable action based on what they are about and wherever it demands an action. So that's a very typical social media monitoring process. Companies use them in different ways. Some companies who feel the necessity to do it on an ongoing basis. So you're constantly looking at it because there could be a need to understand social conversations for your company constantly. There could be times when you're just doing a dipstick. You just want to know what's the buzz like around this subject. I had a campaign running on television or on print. I want to know what people talked about it. So just a little look at a dipstick kind of a thing, get an answer, and get some understanding of perception around that subject. The other way also to look at it is that could you be doing it real time? So you're looking at it almost 24/7 as conversations are happening, picking it up, and you do that if it was important enough for you, if a matter of a few hours would make a difference from whichever point of view, from a vulnerability point of view, maybe from an opportunity point of view, in which case you would look at it on a real-time basis. Or you could be doing in a batch mode, so you might look at it like once a week or once a day or whatever. So all of these are finally the way in which a typical monitoring process could run. The data which you're generally acquiring from all these spaces, what are the typical uses that a brand or a company would use them for? So the most common ones which we see most companies use them for are these three. One is the online reputation management. So is somebody maligning your brand somewhere out there? Is somebody saying negative stuff which you want to be alerted on before it becomes any kind of a snowballing effect for your brand? So that's one of the most common reasons why people do social media monitoring. The other is social CRM. So there are people who are going to use these channels now to ask you questions, ask your brands things which they need help on. Just like they used to pick up a phone and call your call center or send you an email, today they will tweet or they'll just put out a question out in the public that, hey, how can I do this? And it's something which is relevant to your brand and you want to be there responding to them. So that's social CRM. And then, of course, there are opportunities out there. People are looking to buy your product. People are looking to buy a new car and they're looking in a certain range and you're one of the brands who could possibly be offering that vehicle to them. So there are leads out there. There are opportunities sitting out there. So these are the most commonly used reasons why somebody is monitoring social media. Then there are other reasons. So there are reasons like market research. So, the traditional market research is where people are going out, conducting interviews, getting forms filled, and you're picking up information. But really, people are already talking about their wish list or what they want tomorrow in a category of your product. So it's a very easy and doable thing to tap social conversations from a market research perspective. Together, business intelligence, maybe to do competition tracking. It's the data out there is as open about your brand as it's about your competitor's brand. So looking at social media monitoring data to understand what are the trends, is there a loss of share of voice for your brand versus a competitor's brand? Is one of your competitors doing something which is creating a real buzz out there? Is it going to move some of your clients away from you? So business intelligence gathering, all of these are also regularly used, meaningful reasons why social media monitoring is done. But then I'm talking about something beyond that. Can social media monitoring be actually used to create or evolve a marketing communication strategy? Okay, it's a slightly unheard of concept. I'm not sure if too many companies are looking at it from that point of view. And I'm using it as an example, mostly to get the point across that social media monitoring data out there can be utilized in a way that you can conceive it. And marketing communication strategy is just one of those examples, which is a little unconventional example. But there is data out there, and the way you can visualize utilizing the data, you can look for the right kind of conversations, make meaning out of it, and actually get benefit from those conversations. What I'm going to do is to look at an example, a case study, where we use this for a client. We use social media monitoring to lead into some interesting insights which could help shape the marketing communication strategy going ahead. So this case study, interestingly, is of a B2B business. So, there was a question to Manu earlier about a ball bearings business or something like that. So, well, it could be a ball bearings business or any other B2B business. So the numbers are very different, as he rightly pointed out. So we're not talking about necessarily millions or hundreds of thousands, fewer numbers, but very relevant numbers. Again, the idea of this, to appreciate this aspect of B2B business is, a lot of times people think that social media and conversation and monitoring and all is good for the B2C brands because there's so much buzz out there and there's a lot of consumer-facing businesses. But I think there's so much more value even for a B2B business. You have very sharp targeting possible. You know exactly whose conversations you want to listen to. You know exactly what you want to do after listening to that conversation because you have a very specific niche space which you want to study in that case. So here's a case of a B2B business, and you'll hopefully appreciate the value which we were able to create by doing the social media monitoring for them. So the business is about, it's a business process management / KPO service offering. That's the business of this client. And the major clients of our client, the major clients are in the US. Most of them are Fortune 1000 companies. So that's the space that they are operating in. And they cater to multiple industry verticals. So they are not just in IT or something, but they cater to multiple industry verticals. And they compete with global IT and consulting majors. So that's the framework, that's the client who we are talking about. And they obviously have existing marketing strategies which they have been utilizing. They have a strong on-ground marketing team in North America. So they have a marketing presence definitely out there, which is their key market. They already create a large amount of collateral, white papers, case studies. They have a very active blog, their leadership team blogs. So all this is already happening. They also participate in a whole lot of industry events. And they also create their own focused events where their prospects are brought into a room like this and conversations happen. So if all this was happening, where is the marketing challenge, if any? The challenge was that were they communicating what their prospects were looking to listen? So a lot of times, this is what I can communicate about myself. This is my product or this is my service, and I keep doing that, and I keep doing it, in maybe multiple ways. But the clear challenge is to understand that, is this what your target audience wants right now at this point? Is this what they want to listen to, first of all? Is there a clear differentiation between you and your competitors? So you are putting out some material out there, you are creating an event out there, but so also are all your competitors. And some of them probably are bigger brands, have a larger brand equity. So are you just being a me too out there and not making a difference to your prospect? And are you in that whole seeming rut of a treadmill, like you keep doing things, being one more player in a busy market, or are you doing something different? So is the content which you're creating just one more in a large heap? And is there any way that they can get more relevant to their target group? So if they can get more relevant, obviously they have a better chance of making an impact on their business. So we thought that, we thought about it as we were discussing these issues with our client, and we explored the idea that maybe social media monitoring can give us some answers to this problem. So it was a shot which we took, and it actually turned out to be quite interesting, and which is why I am presenting it as a case study here. So what we did is we picked one of their areas of interest, one of their verticals, and this vertical was what is referred to as consumer packaged goods, or the CPG industry out there in North America. And within that industry segment, we kind of focused on three key areas: that what are the challenges that the industry is possibly facing today, what are the innovations which are coming out, and are there any alliances that people are already, in the sense, are there other players in the space which the industry is already dependent on or are having a good connect with? So the aim was using this exercise to find out if there were gaps which could be filled by our client in terms of their marketing strategy. So the method which was followed was something like this, that using a social media monitoring tool, basically Radian6 is the tool which we use. We plugged it with a few keywords such as CPG, consumer packaged goods, consumer goods. Some of these relevant keywords were identified, put into the tool, based on which the tool threw back a whole bunch of conversations in that space. Those conversations were looked at manually by our team. They were classified into whether they were belonging to the area of challenges, innovations, or alliances, which were the three key areas which we were focusing on. Whatever was not belonging to any of these was ignored for this particular exercise. And what was actually then finally bucketed was looked at in detail to understand really what was the content in there. And that study brought out certain interesting insights for us. What we could find is that there were 5 key challenges that the industry people were talking about. One was that they were all looking for some cost-effective solutions. So you can say I've just put, this was done over a period of about 2 to 3 weeks of conversations. So in that 2 to 3 weeks of conversations, 73 posts from a very relevant audience from the industry. So I already told you they're looking at Fortune 1000 kind of companies. So we're talking about conversations happening with participants from those kinds of companies. So having 73 posts across different social media platforms around a subject which was around a lack of cost-effective solutions. So people were talking about solutions which were very expensive. Is there a way to do it more cost-effective or not? Those kinds of conversations were there, about 73 of them. There were conversations which talked about having loopholes in the business processes. So, I mean, it's a very elaborate process, the whole supply chain management and things like that. So some of them were talking about the challenges they were finding in the business process itself and how things were slipping between the cracks. So that was the other area where a lot of conversations were found. There were decision-making challenges. So maybe there were areas where there were choices to be made, and people were not clear about what choice to be actually made. The questions were being asked, and conversations were happening in that area. There were conversations in the area of analytics, and there were conversations in the area of getting speed in the whole process. So these were 5 key industry challenges. We just, at the top level, we could identify these 5 major categories of challenges. And within each, there were some subtopics also found, which we analyzed and understood. Digging deeper into these, what we could also see is that the first 3 cases, the first 3 of the areas, there were already interesting, innovative solutions which were being offered by somebody or the other in the same conversation. So remember, we were not even looking for our client's brand. We were just looking at conversations around the CPG industry itself. So there were other people, many other people were talking, other competitors, other brands. So they were, on the first challenge, there were already interesting and innovative solutions which were being shared amongst them for the first 3 of the areas. The areas of analytics and speed, what we saw was there were more questions than answers. There were more questions and few answers. So there were no authoritative and interesting solutions which were being offered. So there was a sense that the industry was, in some sense, grappling and not getting the right solutions. So innovation was not as much visible in these areas. This was clearly an opportunity waiting to be tapped, because as a service provider, our client had solutions across the board. I mean, that's their specialty, that's the business they are in. However, there was every likelihood that their typical collateral continued to focus on the first 3 areas where there were already enough other people talking about it, enough other solutions being offered, and there were 2 areas where the industry was grappling and maybe there weren't enough answers coming out. The other key findings we got was that there were some brand names which kept coming into the conversation. These were either competitors or potential partners for our client. So again, in a sense, to discover either somebody who can be a value-added reseller or value-added partner for you, or a potential alliance opportunity, or an influencer in the space. These were discovered by looking at conversations which your target group is already having. The most popular blog posts, the key Twitter discussions, the large mainstream media topics which were popular in that group could also be quickly identified. Again, great hints to identify influencers you could connect with later on. Like I said, industry influencers were identified. So to give you a sense that what kind of specific findings we could gather from within this, say from now, this is related to the CPG industry. So they say demand forecasting is essential in ensuring that a customer receives ordered goods and products on time. This was something which emerged as one of the findings. They're all CPG related, supply chain and relevant related conversations. More and more food is being brought into America. There is more wastage. Putting an expiration date of packaged food can cut down food wastage by 20%. All part of conversations happening within the industry group. Outsourcing creates less vulnerability to the changes in market, and also the freedom to source materials depending on which factor is most important, be it price or lead times. Very, very specific conversations that the industry was having, and where some key points were emerging. It's almost like a B2B business eavesdropping their top clients in the industry, the Fortune 500, Fortune 1000 kind of companies, and understanding what is it that they're conversing today about. What is it that they really are concerned about? What is it that we can go and participate and help them in their conversations, in their deliberations, which leads to identifying solutions and potentially generating the business opportunity for them. So there were a whole host of CPG business-related findings which we could gather from a simple exercise of this kind. So, considering the overall effort, the benefits were that, first of all this data came out of a very, very simple monitoring process. Now think about any alternate way to get this information. I mean, think about it in the form of a market research exercise which you need to do in North America. What kind of expense, what kind of effort, what kind of time will it take to generate the same kind of information? Here was a question of putting a simple monitoring process, running it for about 3 weeks, analyzing the data for another week or so, and putting out this really, really relevant information out there. What it also led to was the identification of areas of interest for the target group. So our client is like $1 billion company, NYSE listed. So it's not that these are small changes. The impact of some of this understanding and their potential changes that they make in their marketing communication can have impact of very large amount of money. Considering that this entire effort was done in a very simple monitoring exercise, can give you an appreciation of the whole ROI of the exercise. Identifying solutions which existed, understanding the media and platforms of interest, identifying influencers with whom they can engage. So all that benefits out of the exercise enable them to take some action, or at least plan out some action which they can then implement through their marketing teams, such as client is able to identify key areas of focus. So the next set of collateral that they start preparing, they could focus on specific areas where the gaps were identified. Okay. Influencer and media tracking, so you know exactly who are the guys whose voice is mattering the most in this specific area of CPG. Within that, again, CPG and analytics, who are the people who are making the most impact, or CPG and supply chain management or speed, who are the people whose blog or whose column is making the most impact in terms of the target audience, identify them, track them, perhaps go out and create engagement or relationship with them. So which obviously also had a rub-off on the social media strategy, which we run for them, which was in terms of creating focused communities and groups now that we know that this is an area of key interest, this is an area where a lot of question marks are still there. Maybe creating a community which generates conversations and where, in a subtle way, the client will put out their solutions and satiate the requirement of answers, turned out to be a typical opportunity which was there. Putting out the right expert content on social media sites and running a social media influencer program, all of this came as a very quick and immediate consequence of this exercise. So that's about all. That's what I wanted to share on this case study. The key, I would say the key points of appreciation, one is that it's a B2B business. So it's not always about B2C on social media. A B2B business, which is a large one, small, simple, focused exercise can generate very, very relevant answers, very, very relevant business benefits. And it's not always about having to spend a lot of money. So it's not about running some big application or creating some huge on-ground event. It's all about thinking the right answers. And we have done many other interesting efforts through listening. So while we, of course, do the social CRMs and the ORMs and all that for a lot of clients, but looking beyond these basic stuff, recently we were working with an automobile accessory company and for their R&D team. And the R&D team, so it's a product which they make, which goes into automobiles and does a mechanical function. And they were looking to see, through social media listening, that are there any not so obvious ways in which the same motion is manifested, and can we find social conversations around them, whether it's a human movement or an animal movement or some man-made structure which has the same kind of a motion and which is similar to what they are putting into automobiles, and can we derive some new insights on our R&D just by understanding and listening to those conversations and those developments through a social media listening program. So it's just thinking out of the box, thinking differently, and recognizing that there is value in the social media space to pick out data which you might want to look for. Okay. So yeah, that's about it. Open for questions.